Hello, dear friends. It's Carly Wharton, and welcome back to Owning Authenticity. In this video, I am sharing with you one of my most favorite tools that I have ever picked up along my path, and that is the saying, everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Oh, everything is always working out for me. I have said that thousands of times over the last few years. And let me tell you, everything is always working out for me. When I very first heard that, it was from Abraham Hicks. Esther channels Abraham, and everything's always working out. That's just knowledge that they preach. And there was a nugget of truth inside of it for me that resonated, that I didn't believe it outright, but I could see enough that things are working out. Like when I zoom out to a bigger picture, there's very little in my life that I'm dissatisfied with. Like pretty much everything is either going well or I learned a lot from it, and I'm pretty happy overall with my life. And it was only because she introduced me to that I was able to see that. Before I rendezvoused with that phrase, everything is always working out for me. Before that, I told the story of all the things I was still doing, all the goals I was still reaching for, all of the things that weren't quite into place, explaining what I was still working on. Here's why I'm not perfect yet. I'm not in those words, but that's basically what it was. And when she laid everything is always working out for me on me, it flipped my brain in a completely different direction. And instantly I had a couple examples of things that oh yeah, you're right. Like that thing did work out for me. Oh, and this thing, it worked out for me. And the more I sat in that, it just became this every single morning in my journal, the first thing I would write is everything is always working out for me. And if ever I was journaling and kind of stuck on what do I want to write about next, that would come back to me. Everything is always working out for me. And anytime anything happens in my life, I say everything is always working out for me. For example, like when I wait in a long line, I believe that everything is always working out for me, that perhaps that line delayed me long enough so that on the way home in my car, I'll have safe passage. Maybe there would have been an issue if I'd gotten in and out of the post office or whatever and not had to stand in the line. My timing through traffic would have been completely different. So I trust that everything is always working out for me. And that means that even when something looks like it's not, even when in the moment it looks like this is effed and what are we going to do about it, everything is always working out for me. And for me, there is an instant tension relief that I have now associated with that phrase, because it has helped me so much to build trust in the dominant well-being of this universe. That really well-being is natural. Everything is always working out for me. Well-being is dominant. And the only thing that stops us from experiencing that well-being is when we pinch ourselves off from the natural flow of well-being. That's a hard pill to swallow, that really there's nothing external that's getting in our way. It's only ever us that gets in our own way. But so empowering to swallow that pill and to digest that medicine, because as soon as you realize that everything that is limiting you or holding you back, or all the reasons that you don't have what you want, every single one of them is actually inside of you, and you can take ownership of that. You can work systematically to lean yourself into a more and more and more positive mindset. And everything is always working out for me is such an awesome tool in that toolbox. Say it 100 times a day. Look for evidence of it everywhere. Like when somebody opens the door for you at the gas station, oh, everything's always working out for me. Or when the scratcher ticket that you bought wins you $10, everything is always working out for me. All the time. You pull up in front of the place and like the front row parking spot is open. That's one of my favorites, the Princess Park. Everything is always working out for me. I hit green lights almost all the time. And so when there's a red light, I know that everything is always working out for me. I'm supposed to pause at this particular spot in time and sit here because it adjusts my movement through the forward motion part of my path. And I appreciate the intervention. And I know that everything is always working out for me. So while I'm sitting at a red light, that's what I'm thinking. And I used to be thinking, I have a million things to do at the place where I'm going, and this a-hole won't get out of my way. And why aren't we going? And I need to get there, and I'm running late, and I have a million things to do. And oh my God, I don't have enough time. And I still have to do these things when I get home. That used to be the state of my mind. And no wonder I didn't feel good. So everything is always working out for me. How do I put that spin on every single thing that ever happens in my life? And just now, it's so awesome. This video right now was inspired because I made a mistake. I recorded a video. I recorded, foreshadowing, a video that I was very proud of. When I was finished with it, I was very pleased with how it all flowed and came together, and loved the subject so much. Very passionate about the message in the video. And I closed out of it, and the little box didn't pop up saying that the recording was converting, was like they were processing it. There was no processing because there was no recording because I didn't press record. So that 20-minute video or whatever just doesn't exist. Like that was a moment of like, crap, I definitely meant to record that. And almost instantly, wouldn't you know it, everything is always working out. Everything is always working out for me. That version of that video wasn't the one. It wasn't the one. And after, I discovered there's no video, what am I going to do now? I tried to make another video about making mistakes, and that didn't really flow, but it was fun. But it was like, okay, no, that's not it. And then the thought came back over me like, do it again. Just do it again. Just like take what you were going to say and make the video again. Like that solution, it took me a second to get there, but the realization came with this understanding that I love the message enough to make the video again. It's no big deal. I believe in putting the message on my channel enough that, having to just do it again, that's not a big deal. Everything is always working out for me. I trust that the version of the video that's coming next will be the one that's meant to be heard, that's ready to be heard, that people are ready to rendezvous with, or whoever is going to be listening. That part's not my business because everything is always working out for me, and the universe is always putting the people in the path that are meant to be in the path. So I hope this has been helpful. If you haven't already adopted everything is always working out for me, I invite you to play with it, to try it on for size and see how it fits. See if you like it, and see if you don't notice a shift in your thinking and your outlook pretty quickly after holding it for just a few days. I would imagine that you're already going to be looking for more evidence of how things are working out for you instead of maybe how they're not. Until next time, dear friends, you take good care of yourself, and so will I.